So the next question is, what are the most common misconceptions recent graduates have about working in design?
Even though I've like mentioned it before, I think just thinking that you would just have one job to do, or that your role would be very clearly defined. I think it kind of extends beyond, what you think your role is about.
I think one misconception I had was about linearity
About?
in design process. Linearity in the design process, or like the whole cycle of iteration, how it happens in um, the industry is very different from how iteration happens in an academic setting, um, or how you perceived it would happen. So iteration is very different, and how you reiterate, how you frame a problem statement, or how you frame the brief, or the various considerations that you have to take into account when working with a given brief. It's not necessarily linear, or it's not entirely how we thought it would be in as you learned in college, or as you perceived it to be. It is something that is very malleable. It is something that shifts with context and need, and is something that shifts with uh, every new project.
Yeah, I think the kind of creative process that we follow and we document while working on projects in college, as we start working outside, firstly, the creative process changes according to the kind of people you're working with, the kind of team you have. And secondly, I think the process starts becoming more internal. You wouldn't like literally sit down and like kind of expand that project as much as you would in an academic setting. It is kind of a thing you do internally for yourself, and yeah, like follow a very different creative process. So I think that was a big change, wherein the pace is very fast. You wouldn't like, let's say you get a styling assignment, it's not necessary that you would get a week to kind of come up with and document and do mood boards. It's You might just get a day or something to work with it, and it's an urgent thing. So I think adapting to pace was something that I didn't see coming, but yeah, I eventually adapted to it.